goes back to the problem that I talked about in my talk of institutionalized, centralized forms of power versus decentralized, spontaneous, community-based. To the extent that charter schools are reflecting the real needs of particular communities and reflect the self-determination of those communities, I don't want to discourage them. At the same time, I think what we need is massive infusion of help for our schools. Teachers need to be paid more. Classrooms need to be smaller. We've got to bring back art, music, physical education for all students in all schools. And I think your question kind of implies that if we just cherry pick and have a few exquisite, precious schools, what about everybody? You know, the majority of people in this country are still going to go to their neighborhood school, and we want them to be able to get a high-quality public education within walking distance. Why is that so impossible? They've done it in other countries. All right. So my answer to the question on charter schools is it depends. There's some very bad charter schools. There's some excellent charter schools. But I want a level of reform that would improve every school. And we're not going to get that. You know, to get a really good charter school, and Charles Lawrence, my co-author, is on the board of one, takes huge effort. The school I'm referring to is the Maya Angelou School in Washington, D.C. You know, the ratio of adults to kids is almost one-on-one there. They've got psychiatrists, social workers. This is a school that takes kids from the criminal justice system and really works to turn around their lives. And they've had amazing successes. But the level of resources they've had to put into that school, the fundraising is just, it'd be very hard to duplicate. And it works. So I'm not about to shut it down, but it's a model that's going to be very hard to replicate. And I want something that's replicatable, that we could put in every neighborhood. And that's going to have to be a public school model. And we can do it.
First of all, thanks for your talk. It's been really fascinating. I wanted to ask, speaking of amassing wealth, I don't know if anybody's mentioned to you that Dartmouth College has an endowment of $4.5 billion. And we're currently in the midst of a capital campaign, just past the $1 billion mark, headed for a goal of $1.3 billion. So is Dartmouth and are other institutions like Dartmouth part of the problem or part of the solution?
At the risk of being a bad guest, and I'll include the entire academy